everyone, and welcome back to yet another exciting episode of This Week in Digital. I am Japsimran, your co-host for today, and I have Manas with me, who will be sharing his valuable insights on changing consumer trends. So Manas, how do you think consumers have evolved and how are brands approaching this change?
See, I think it has been a drastic change from what it was, from a TV screen to an interactive screen right now. Customers like to give feedback, customers like to interact, and there are various opportunities around, like there are polls through which people can take a feedback about things. Also, if there's a customer who has been onboarded, people go into a space where they take testimonials from the customers to improve their brands. I quote a very nice example of OnePlus, the mobile phone, which didn't involve through marketing per se, but through a community of sorts in which the community came together, gave feedback and helped improvise the products. I think it's a classic example of how a brand was built through a community of people who were customers as well. So I think that's the most classic example of customer feedback and it being utilized to build the product at an overall level.
So let's start with storytelling. Many experts believe that consumers are attracted towards interesting storytelling by brands. What is your take on it?
I think storytelling is very important. You can for sure reach out to the maximum set of people. But the lasting impression happens only when the storytelling is proper. Many people might have seen many ads which talk about only product selling as a point of view. But the ads which stay with you, probably are the ones which have a nice jingle, has a storytelling effect of it. And if you talk about it, some of the brands which have impacted me a lot probably are the ones which has a nostalgia around it, like which might be Google. If you talk about Google and also Coke, they take storytelling as a central plank of things and then build the entire product around it. I think that impacts the customer a lot, and those are the ads which you really remember for a long time overall. Product selling per se is an ask from the advertisers, but if you ask me, you can advertise and reach out to many people, but you might not have a lasting impression on a lot of people because of it.
Moving on to the next topic, which is CTV advertising. Do you think it is the next big thing in the advertising industry?
I think CTV, for reaching out to the premium customers, it's very important in the larger scope of things. While you have programmatic advertising and you have other forms of advertising which are there to reach out to premium customers, which involves a lot of targeting to premium ad sets. Which normally involve CTV. That the audience you're targeting is an audience which is seeing it on an interactive TV. So it is very premium, and especially for brands which are luxury and premium, CTV and smart TV is one of the best avenues to advertise. It is a big opportunity for all advertisers to get onto the bandwagon and advertise on CTV.
Well, Manas, what you said was very insightful. So let's move forward to the next topic, that is resonating with consumer psyche and values. What is your take on it?
I think it is very important, first of all, to understand the target audience and the consumer. And consumer likes to be talked to in a certain manner, the way a friend talks to you. And I think social media is a testimony to the fact that if brands do not resonate the way you talk to them, you will not connect with them and the engagement levels will be really low. It is important to understand basic nitty-gritties of it. So, for example, I'm very impressed by the way Zomato sends out its notifications. If it's raining outside and it's very nice weather, they'll send you a notification that why don't you have samosas in the evening? Which to me, I think it's like a push towards buying something on Zomato. Going to the right set of shop to buy it from, and I think that's understanding consumer psyche and consumer very well. I'll also give an example of H&M ads, and I saw it on WPL yesterday. What they've done is they've covered a wide scape of people from different ethnicities and different wardrobes and showcased them. I think it's a wholesome ad and also talks about the inclusivity of H&M as an entity. So people resonate with that more. They want to reach out to customers who are modern and evolved. And I think that's when they're able to establish that connection with the customers as well.
I would like to add on to that H&M example that you just stated. H&M also has a sustainability program about recycling old garments, which attracts consumers who are very much into saving the nature and sustainability. So another key insight is about personalization, which you talked in your previous videos as well. Around 71% of consumers prefer ads that are tailored as per their personalized interests. What is your take on it?
I think it's very, very important. Like at the end of the day, it's a target group only, and I won't call it personalization. I'd call it hyper personalization because the brands know what PG you are, where all your psychographics, your demographics, also which city you come from, what is the language you speak, and vernacular plays a very, very important role in all of this. So brands these days, like almost 30 to 40% of their spends have moved on to vernacular spends, like creating content which is in vernacular languages, reaching out state-wise to that set of people, also slicing and dicing data depending upon what's the sort of feedback they're getting, what is the region which they're targeting, and customizing the language and also using media accordingly for each one of them. I think a classic example in this is Dabur. Dabur has been on an ongoing basis creating content in vernacular languages to reach out to the states which give them maximum sales. I think it is a very, very intelligent thing to do, and it is recommended for a lot of other brands as well. And what we've seen that if the content which is created, like especially around product and storytelling, if it's in the language of the customer, like a native language of the customer, the CTRs are much, much higher, the brand saliency is much, much higher, and it impacts the customer directly. So yeah, exactly, like hyper personalization is very, very much required.
So I like the word that you use, hyper personalization, and the example that you stated is really, really insightful. Last but not the least, consumer feedback. How do you think it's changing the way brands are operating?
I'll just try to correlate to any service which is provided to a customer, and I'll start with going to a restaurant. All the big restaurants and the good restaurants who think and who believe that their product is really, really nice will come onto your table and ask you how was the food served, while it's irritating at times. But that's the conviction which each of these brands have, and I think that transcends into the digital landscape as well. If a brand is coming back to you asking you how did they feel about the intervention or the advertisement, and if they're open about it, I think it's a great boost of confidence for the customer as well, that this is a brand who's ready to work with my feedback and come back with a product and offering which is a better product and also incorporating their ideas into it. So I think it's a great confidence boost for the customer as well as for the brand, because they're able to improvise basis customer feedback. And I think that's how a product should be made, and that's how the intervention and marketing around the entire thing should be.
Well, Manas, those were some really great insights, and thank you so much for sharing them with us. And with this, we conclude this week's episode of TWiD. Thank you, Manas, for being here, and thank you for sharing your answers. See you guys next week.